Hello, I'm Ashwam Wankedi, a first year software engineering student at MIT UE, and today we are diving into the logic of decision making in Python, specifically focusing on nested if statement. But before we get into complex stuff, let's quickly refresh what is the standard if statement actually does. So, what is if statement? An if statement is a conditional control structure in Python that allows the execution of a block of code only when a specific condition evaluates to true. If the condition is false, the block of code is skipped and the program continues with the next statement. So basically, at its core, an if statement is a control structure. It tells the program only run this specific block of code if a certain condition is true. If that condition is false, the program simply skips that block and move on to the next task. Here is the syntax of if condition. The syntax is pretty straightforward. Uh, you write if followed by a condition and a colon. So let's understand the if statement through an example. So here is a simple example of a if statement to check a number is greater than 5. So in this example, we are asking the input in the form of integer from the user, and here is our if statement. If with the condition followed by colon, and this is a block of code. So here is the condition, and if is greater than 5, then this block of code will be executed. For example, if the user enters n equal to 10, so if 10 greater than 5, which is true, so this statement will run. But if the user enters n equal to 3, that is if 3 greater than 5, that is false, so this statement will not run. So let's level up, and so let's level up towards nested if statement. What is a nested if statement? A nested if statement is a conditional statement in which one if statement is embedded within another if statement to evaluate multiple condition in a hierarchical manner. So basically, condition statement inside another conditional statement. Here is the syntax of the nested if statement. So as you can see, this is if statement, and inside this if statement is another if statement. That is, if this condition becomes true, then this block of code will run, which includes another if statement. And if this condition becomes true, then this block of code will run. And so let's understand nested if statement through an example. Uh, this is an example of nested if statement, the greatest among three numbers. So classical way to show this is finding the greatest among three number. First we compare A and B. If A is bigger, we then enter a second if statement to compare A with C. We essentially filter this possibilities step by step until we find the winner. So let's run this program. So as you can see, I have written this program already. So let's try and run this program. We will enter A equal to 10, B equal to 20, and C equal to 30. So clearly C is greater. Clearly C is greatest among these. So if we run the code, 30 is greatest. So as you can see, the code is running properly. Let's run it again. This time we will enter A equal to 5, B equal to 10, and C equal to 2. So here B is the greatest. So let's run the code. So 10 is greatest. So as you can see, in this way we can use nested if statements. Let's move forward. So to give you a better idea of how this looks in practice, here are some few common scenarios where nested if is useful. Like checking number. If a number is positive, If yes, is it even or odd? Eligibility. Is a number is a person over 18? If yes, do they have a valid voter ID? Grading system. Uh, Grading system. If a student passes, we can next another check to see if they hit the 75 or 90 mark for a distinction or an A grade. So to wrap things up, while nested ifs are incredibly powerful for making complex decisions, they come with handle with care tag. Indentation is everything. Uh, Indentation is everything. In Python, your code won't run correctly or at all if your tabs and spaces aren't perfectly aligned. Keep it readable. Just because you can nest 5 if statement doesn't mean you should. We should only use nested if nesting when it's necessary to keep logic clear and readable. Ultimately, these are tools to help us handling multiple condition efficiently. But the goal is always to write logic that is as clean as it is functional. Thank you.